Professor Romaine.
Welcome to this series of discussions in which we look at quilts by the African-American artist Harriet Powers. Born into slavery near Athens, Georgia in 1837, Powers was one of the most extraordinary artists of America's post-Civil War period. This Bible quilt, as well as a second, later quilt, depict and interpret episodes from the Bible, as well as more recent events, in order to visually narrate stories of creation and destruction, of evil and redemption. In the discussions that follow, we will explore various dimensions of this Bible quilt. However, before engaging questions of interpretation, we should start with an iconographic inventory. This quilt is composed of 11 panels, organized in 3 rows. Reading this quilt takes careful and thoughtful attention. Powers is a subtle and insightful artist, and she presumes that her viewer knows the Bible. The first panel depicts Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. This is the serpent who is tempting Eve by whispering in her ear. But notice that the serpent has feet. When God judges the serpent for tempting Eve to sin, God curses the serpent to crawl on the ground on its belly. The fact that this serpent still has feet could be a way for Powers to suggest that this first panel depicts the world in its originally created state of perfection. The next panel continues in paradise with Adam, Eve, and their son Cain. In the last panel of the top row, Satan appears. Satan is surrounded by 7 stars. In Christian art, the number 7 has been associated with the 7 days of creation. Satan is a disruptive mischief maker in this story of creation. The middle row begins with Cain's murder of his brother Abel. This is a dramatic panel in which the bleeding body of Abel is surrounded by his sheep. Following this gruesome crime, Cain flees to the land of Nod. There, God allows Cain to get married and start a new life. The next panel depicts Jacob's dream, in which angels descend from heaven. Powers' quilt then takes a bit of a leap within the biblical narrative from Jacob's dream to the baptism of Christ. In the bottom row, we see Christ as a child with Mary and Joseph. Next to that is Christ with his disciples at the Last Supper. The panel depicting Judas, the disciple who betrayed Christ, has clear similarities with the panel depicting Satan. And the last panel depicts the crucifixion of Christ. Powers called this quilt the offspring of my brain. This quilt is a visual sermon on the power of creation and salvation, triumphing over evil and betrayal. Whether we are looking at the details of a single panel or examining the overall compositional structure of this quilt, it is clear that Powers was a skillful and perceptive artist